After scaling my own agency to $7 million per year and helping hundreds of other agencies hit seven figures, I can tell you that hitting $1 million a year isn't some fancy client acquisition hack or scaling secret method. Trust me, I wish it was that simple. The reality is, to grow $1 million agency in 2025, you need a proven blueprint that takes your business through the stages and gives you a complete clarity on what you need to do to get to the next level. So in this video, I'm gonna break down those exact stages and what you need to focus on in each one of them to hit that seven-figure mark as fast as possible. So the first stage is startup, where we're just starting the agency. We've got $0 to $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. This is an exciting time in the agency because I got this new business, I got this new idea. I think I'm gonna make a lot of money with this. We wanna make sure we do things right in the startup phase. A lot of agencies get stuck here because they have no clear niche and target market. They have inconsistent lead generation or deal flow. They'll take on any client they can get, right? And they're reinventing the wheel from every client to the next. Really, what you wanna focus on in this first stage is picking your niche, or at least your hypothetical niche, getting your core offer and pricing dialed in, getting your first clients, at least one or two key clients, and then getting a case study client that you actually got great results for, that you can point back to and say, hey, I work with plumbing companies. Here's this company I work with in Fort Lauderdale named Town Plumbing. We got them ranked for all these keywords. They were able to triple their business. And you've got that case study that you can point back to, which makes getting all future clients so much easier. I can tell you, in my first agency, I got stuck in startup. Developcom is a web design and hosting company, and I was stuck at between $5,000 and $10,000 any given month. I struggled because I was selling to anybody. I didn't have a lot of case studies and examples, and I didn't have the deal flow that was going to help accelerate me. And in my second business, we did this right. We decided we were going to focus on plumbing companies. We got a great plumbing case study client that was getting great results. That was what accelerated us really out of that startup phase in my second agency in the first couple of months, right? So this can be really quick when you do this right. On to stage two. This is when you're between $10,000 and $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue. It starts to get a little funner, right? Because you've got some revenue coming in, but oftentimes you're doing it all yourself. You landed some clients, you figured out how to do the work. Maybe you've got a couple freelancers that you're subcontracting to, but the key shifts you have to make are moving from freelancer to actually thinking of yourself as a business owner. You have to start creating processes for hiring and unlocking leverage in the business. What you want to focus on when you're in the stability stage is scaling up client acquisition, figuring out what your key play is to get appointments and to get sales, right? And find that one path, whether it's ads or whether it's cold outreach or whether it's networking, that you're going to really use on a consistent basis to get the appointments. The other thing you want to focus on is retaining the clients you have. Usually, between 10 and 30K, you probably have 10 to 25 clients, give or take, depending upon what you're charging on a monthly basis. And while we want to grow and while we want to take things to the next level, we also have to make sure we're delivering for those clients and that those clients are sticking around with us. We have to start to delegate at this phase in the business. We've got to try and hire for operations. If you're still doing the work within the business, if you're setting up the websites, doing the SEO, doing the pay-per-click, setting up the Facebook ads, looking at the tracking, you don't have a business, you have a job. This is where we need to start to hire that operations person or that small operations team and really creating that operational system. Some of the biggest mistakes I see in the stability stage is trying to scale too quickly, take on too many clients before we've got everything dialed in, or unfortunately trying to scale the team before the revenue exists. So we have to be cognizant of how much revenue is there, how much profitability is there, how quickly are we landing new clients, and then hire an appropriate level of team so we don't wind up too heavy on team and we wind up not having the financial resources to maintain. And then of course we've got to focus on retention. Big mistake people make in stability is that they're trying to get to the next level, but they take their eye off the client relations and the client results. Stage three is scale. Between $40,000 and $70,000 in monthly recurring revenue. At this stage, you get enough money to invest in resources, you get enough to invest in team, and to pay yourself a pretty decent income and live a pretty good life. Scale is an exciting place to be. What you need to focus on in scale is implementing our growth system. I've got separate videos and separate trainings that explain these are the things that you want to be doing daily, monthly, and quarterly to keep your pipeline full, dialing in your appointment funnel and your sales process, putting the systems in place to retain clients at 97% or higher. And so really dialing in a multi-channel client acquisition strategy that would include cold outreach, ads, inbound marketing by putting out content, webinars, podcasts, live events, and having a multi-channel marketing strategy so you've got clients coming in pre-positioned to buy from a lot of different sources. In addition to that, we've also got to really focus on building the team, right? We can't just have one operations person, one account manager at this point. At this stage in the game, you start to have people in different areas within the company, and you want to have a little bit of additional support to have oversight of that team. At this stage, we're optimizing the systems and the operations in the business so we can maintain quality standards. Super important, because as we start to delegate more and more, we take our hands off and we're like, hey, good, I'm at the scale phase. I need to keep growing the company, but we can't abdicate, right? There's a difference between delegation and abdication. Abdication is, hey, I hired this person. I hope they know what they're doing. I'm off to the next thing. And sometimes if we abdicate and we don't have the right person in place because we don't have the experience, we don't have the knowledge that that's even a thing, those people start to drop balls, clients start to cancel, our reputation starts to erode. So it's really important that we delegate effectively, keep a pulse on what's going on using the 10-80-10 process. We're going to give them 10% direction, let them take it and run with it 80% of the way, but we need to follow back on that last 10% and make sure that it's right and make sure that it's up to standard and coach that person or coach that team up or push them out and get the right person in the right seat. Big mistakes I see in the scale phase is putting the wrong team members in place, abdicating, putting too much trust in that new team that hasn't really been developed yet or proven themselves yet, not focusing on client retention and or focusing too much on client retention. And this is a big reason a lot of people will get stuck in scale. They go through this cycle. Well, they'll hire some people and they'll feel like they've created some freedom for themselves, and then they'll go into whatever they want to do, and then they'll realize operations is crumbling and they'll come back in and they'll get their hands dirty in. They are in this cycle of delegating, abdicating, coming back in, and or they have a too strong a pulse on client retention. At scale, you're between $50,000 and $70,000 a monthly recurring revenue. So you got 30 to 50 clients and you're still taking the monthly review calls. You're still the person that the clients reach out to when something's not going right. At that stage in the game, you need to put a account management structure in place. Now, are you going to get called in from time to time at that phase or with client concerns and client issues? Yes. But if you're the main person meeting with all of your clients and doing all of the retention things you need to do to keep those clients engaged, that's going to be more than a full-time job. And that's one of the reasons people really get stuck at that scale phase within the business. You have to learn how to hire out the account management, put a good account management team in place. Final stage is stage 4. This is significant. So we're doing $83,000 or more in monthly recurring revenue. This is a massive accomplishment. Only 3% of agencies get to $1 million per year. When you're at this level and you want to continue to grow and you want to continue to serve your clients, some big things you want to focus on are building your leadership team. Getting to 7 figures, you can kind of be the manager, right? You can kind of manage sales, marketing, account management, operations. When you get to 7 figures and you want to get to the next level, now you probably want to implement EOS, the Entrepreneur's Operating System. You want to put a leadership team in place that can step up and drive innovation in all the key areas, right? Account management. You'd have a director of account management that's responsible for managing the 2 or 3 account managers, or however many there are at that stage in your business, and innovating that process. And you'd want to have the same for operations, maybe even a key leader in web development, SEO, paid search, right? People that manage the team, manage the deliverables, own the KPIs on the scorecards, but also are innovating those processes and roles. So at this stage, you should really be looking for 10x opportunities like joint ventures, like strategic alliances, where you can joint venture up with one of the big coaches or one of the big softwares that could take you from $1 million to 10 million just from their deal flow alone. So you want to be looking for and structuring those types of win-win relationships. Also at this stage in the game, you probably want to start looking at hiring a salesperson to take over the sales calls. Usually to $1 million, maybe even $2 million per year in your agency, you can still be doing the sales, right? Opportunities come in, they schedule in, you take them through the consultative sales process, but it's a really beautiful thing to hire a salesperson that can take those sales calls, take that time off your schedule. And that's really where you start to remove yourself from all the key areas in the business. You've got somebody handling sales, you've got somebody doing the onboarding, you've got somebody actually doing the work or managing the work on the back end, and then you've got an account management team. And when you get to that level and you've got that completely autonomous team in place, now you're truly the CEO of your business. And you've got the freedom to take the time to do the things you maybe want to be able to do, like take the travel, spend time with your family. And so at this stage in the game, it really becomes about hiring, about onboarding, training, talent management, developing your hiring process so that you can continue to thrive and so that your leadership team can continue to elevate and take more and more responsibility within the business. So that's the exact blueprint you need to follow to build a 7-figure agency in 2025. Now you have 2 options. Try to implement everything I just shared by yourself, spending months or even years figuring out all the details and nuances, or get help from someone who's not only built a $1 million, multi-million dollar agency, but has also helped over 143 other agencies scale to 7 figures and beyond. If you choose the second option, then click the first link in the description to book a free agency acceleration call. On this call, we'll map out exactly what you need to do to reach your next revenue milestone and see if we're a good fit to help get you there. So again, click the link now, book your call, and we'll talk to you soon.